This is Spud here from hitstartnail.com, coming at you with another quick hit. It's officially Valentine's Day. I'm a wee bit soppy at times. So I thought, fuck it, let's do a Valentine's Day special quick hit. Just for the crack, just for the crack. Get into all those video game love stories that have been going on throughout the generations, since day one really. You know. So we may as well start off with everybody's favourite, which is Mario and Peach. Now, as we all know, Peach has this thing about getting herself kidnapped again and again and again by Bowser. Personally, I always thought her and Bowser had something going on, and she just didn't want Mario to know. She was like, look, you just tell him you kidnapped me, and you won't be any the wiser. But then things were turned on the head with Super Princess Peach, where she had to go and save Mario and a bunch of Toads, and it just completely reversed the whole idea. And it's probably one of my favourites in the Super Mario series, if for no other reason than to show who stepping up and taking them, all the bad guys, to get Mario back herself. You know, they kind of threw the whole idea of her just fucking around out the window. You know, I know it was only a fun idea, but a lot of people have thought it over the years, and this one kind of just laid the groundwork and said, look, she's willing to walk for her boy, she's willing to walk an asshole for him. And that's what she did, and it was a great little game. It's a game that deserves a sequel. You know, it's not looking like a game that's going to get a sequel, but it's a game that certainly deserves one because it's a charming little platformer. We've also got Shadow of the Damned, where you play as Garcia fucking Hotspur. And Garcia comes home one day after a hard day's demon hunting to find out that his woman has been killed and or kidnapped by this guy with like a tower of heads. Fleming was his name, I believe. This big old bazooka. He was talking about cocks, you know. It was all a bit tongue-in-cheek. Cock-in-cheek. And underneath it all, he takes it to hell, but underneath it all, it was another classic story of this guy willing to dive all the way into hell and fight against absolutely everything to get his woman back. And it's a great little story, and it's got some, especially in the last couple of levels, it's got some real twists and some great little scenes that are really worth investing in. Like, you know what I mean? It's a really good little title. There's a lot of scenes where I was like, no. You know, it's really good stuff. And if you're going to go into hell after your woman, you may as well be Rick fucking Taylor. You know, fucking isn't actually part of his name, but it is part of Garcia fucking Hotspur's name. Rick Taylor, him and Jenny, they probably have my favourite video game relationship out of, romantic relationship, like out of any two characters in video game history. I love it. Since the original Splathouse trilogy, I've loved it. The crack is, she gets abducted, as ladies always seem to get abducted in old school video games. She got abducted by the evil, what was his name, Dr. West. And he dons what's known as the Tarot Mask, which feeds off gore in exchange for power, makes him into a bit of a powerhouse, a bit of a Jason Voorhees / John Cena looking motherfucker. And he fights to get her back. Now, what makes this one better than every other story where something similar has happened? It's just the twists and turns along the way. Halfway through the first game, she kind of mutates and bursts open into this fucking monster. And you've got to fight this monster, which is probably one of the hardest scenes in the game for a multitude of reasons. But you've got to fight against this monster and you've got to beat it down. You know, and halfway through the fight then, it reverts back into this fragile little woman screaming for help and then bursts back open again. And you've got to kill it. You've got to kill her. And it's the hardest fucking thing to do. You know, just in case that isn't bad enough. In the second game, she gets dragged all the way to hell, once again, like everybody seems to these days. She gets dragged into hell, and he goes into hell to save her. It's absolutely fantastic. anyone who watches these quick hits on a regular basis knows I'm a big fan of the series, knows that I take it to heart the series, but it's got something that a lot of games just do not. You know, one of them that does though is Final Fantasy VIII. Now I know Final Fantasy VIII gets mentioned on a lot of my quick hits. That's fair enough, it deserves to. It's quite a big game. But again, it's got a great romantic setting to it at times. You play as Squall. Squall is a bit of a... He's a bit emo, let's be honest about it, you know, but he's very self-contained. He doesn't let anybody in. He never does until he meets this one girl named Rayona, you know, and she kind of breaks him down piece by piece, and she's all fucking kind of cute and sweet about it, and it gets through this shield that he's always had up, and he starts to develop feeling for her. And this isn't the kind of guy who feels feelings and all that girly shit. He doesn't have time for that. He's got a fucking sword that's half a gun. He's got heads to chop off, you know. But he starts to feel feelings for her, and as the game goes on, he's constantly fighting them back until he kind of wakes up and realizes what a fool he's being fighting these back, and he starts to fight for her. At this stage, she's lost in space and running out of oxygen. So he dons his suit and goes out together, knowing damn well that he doesn't have any way back, you know, and he throws himself out there, and you're in slight control of him, trying to float over and catch her, you know, again, knowing that you don't have enough oxygen or a way to get back, and knowing that she doesn't either, but he's like, fuck it, if she's gonna die, we're gonna die together, you know. It's really hard stuff. It's really, really good. You know, on a slightly lighter note though, Juliet Starling. Now we all know Juliet Starling from Lollipop Chainsaw is a fucking idiot. Okay, she is balled up idiot. That's her character, and that's why we love her. She's charmingly stupid, you know. And she's going out with a dude, a high school guy called Nick. And life is good for her and Nick until Nick gets bitten by a zombie, and she thinks, shit, well, he's gonna die. There's only one thing to do, and that's chop his head off with a chainsaw, do a little voodoo, keep his head alive, and tie it to my ass. And that's what she does, and you spend this whole game with her boyfriend attached to her arse, you know, and there's constant dialogue going on between the two of them. It's not fucking the greatest love story ever told, but it's certainly worth a mention. Another one that's worth a mention, I believe, is one that doesn't get mentioned very often, and that's Eddie Riggs from Brutal Legend. Eddie gets sucked into a strange realm of heavy metal bullshit, you know, and within this realm of heavy metal bullshit, there's certain tribes, like there's an emo tribe and a hair metal tribe and a gothic tribe, and, you know, they're all at war with each other. It's a silly game, but it's a lot of fun. You know, I never seemed to realize whether I wanted to be an open world hack and slash or a real time strategy or what the fuck I was doing. Was it comedy? Was it not comedy? It didn't know, and that's why it ended up being really interesting. Especially considering your main character, look at him even, he's Jack Black from Tenacious D. You know, he's voiced by Jack Black. Jack Black himself is in the opening scene as well, and he brings you into this little record store to show you the Brutal Legend record. It's all very silly. You know, that's cool though. But it doesn't know whether it really wants to play the Jack Black card. So halfway through the game, it kind of drops the comedy a little bit and gets very, very dark. Eddie always seems to have this thing for one of the leaders, a girl named Ophelia. And there's always this kind of budding relationship between the two of them, and that's cool. That's always worth keeping your eye on during it, until something goes wrong and she ends up out on her own and casts herself into what's known as the Sea of Black Tears, which is this evil goop, basically, that just comes and consumes whoever's in it with pure evil. And it's just such a heartbreaking scene. You've got Ozzy Osbourne's Mr. Crowley playing over it, that slow organ bit at the start, you know? And it's just such a heartbreaking scene. After that, there's all these crazy kind of dream sequences where she keeps changing and you end up having to battle her. It's not a story that's often told, but it's definitely one that's often talked about, but it's definitely one that's worth mentioning. It's a cool little love story. It's got such an amazing twist in it, and it's so bizarre, you know. And to top it all off, we're talking about a game where you can actually melt people's faces with a guitar solo. What the fuck more do you want? Honorary mentions as well to Scott Pilgrim, which I don't have a copy here to show you because it's a downloadable. But why it's an honorary mention, not just straight in there, is because it's based on a movie based on comics. There should be a review up on hitstartnow.com very soon about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, so check that out. But for the moment, yeah, it's worth mentioning because it's another little silly lovey-dovey game, and it's a game that doesn't hold back its lovey-doveyness, and it doesn't kind of hide it behind anything, you know what I mean? It's happy enough to just throw it straight out there. You're a boy fighting against a girl's 7 evil exes so you can win a heart. It's straight up. In between each level then there's little cutscenes where there's big love hearts and kisses and all this kind of crap going on all over the place. And it's great, it's a lot of fun, it's really, really cute. You know, top it all off, it's a really fun game, but it's such a simple idea. You know, all the boyfriends must be evil because they're no longer around. You know, therefore, the only way you can have her is to beat their asses. It's a lot of fun. Good man, Scott Pilgrim. I really enjoy it. It's actually kind of a Street of Rage style brawler. It's a lot of crack. So, yeah, that's just some of my personal favourite little video game love stories. There's so many of them, I couldn't get through even half of the amount that I enjoy. You know, but it's something that doesn't get mentioned quite enough in video games because we're too busy talking about driving cars too fast and cutting people's bollocks off and, you know, shooting people from a 2-mile distance with a fucking shotgun to the side of your house or whatever the case may be. We're too invested a lot of the time in the action and the violence that we kind of forget about these little parts of the story. And I think they're always worth mentioning because they can often be the difference between a good game and a great game. And I think that's cool. You know, also, I'm not mentioning Mass Effect because I don't think the love scenes in that have anything to do with love. I think they're just straight up seduction scenes. And a word up to them for bringing the whole gay seduction thing into it later on. No, I thought that was a great move. I hope more people follow it. Also, I'm not mentioning Heavy Rain because I don't play QTEs. But, yeah, it's all in all, though, it's something that is always there but never mentioned, and I think it should be a little bit more. This is Spud from hitstartnow.com, signing off. Good luck. Hey! Look at that! Made it all the way through a quick hit on Valentine's Day without mentioning a Jill sandwich. Who'd have thunk it? Thanks for watching one of our HSN Quick Hits. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. We've also got a lot more gaming videos here on the Hit Start Now YouTube channel. These include Insert Coin, where we play through old school arcade classics, Pixel Pictures, where we review video game related movies, Quick Plays, where we play through anything we can get our hands on, and a whole lot more. Check it out. You can also hit us up at Hit Start Now on Twitter, or Facebook.com/HitStartNow. Of course, we've also got hitstartnow.com for reviews, previews, blogs, videos, and of course our now infamous monthly podcast. So get on over and check all that out. Thank you very much. Good luck.